In a beautiful little village, there lived a man who was famous for his arrogant attitude. This man felt that he was better than everyone else because he had an abundance of wealth and never lacked for anything. Every day he walked around the village with his head held high, showing off his fancy clothes and glittering jewelry. He never greeted others, let alone helped those in distress. One day, as the man was walking around the village, he saw an old farmer struggling to lift a very heavy sack of rice. Instead of offering to help, the man chuckled and said, "Why don't you just ask for help? People like you aren't capable of doing big things." The old farmer just smiled and replied, "God sees everything we do. One day you will realize that your arrogance will get you nowhere." The man simply ignored the old farmer's words and continued walking. However, that night as he fell into a deep sleep, he had a dream. In his dream, all his possessions and wealth simply disappeared. His magnificent house turned into a rickety hut, and he had nothing but the clothes on his body. When he asked the people of his village for help, they all turned him down, just as he had once done to them. In the dream, the man felt very lonely and abandoned. He tries hard to survive, but without help from others, things become very difficult. He then met the old farmer whom he had once insulted. Humbly, the man apologized and begged the old farmer to help him. The farmer just smiled and said, "This is just a shadow of what could happen if you continue to be arrogant. Remember that we are all just ordinary people. Wealth and power mean nothing if they are not accompanied by kindness." The man woke up in a cold sweat. He felt very grateful that it was all a dream. However, the dream made him realize. He finally understood that his arrogant attitude would only make him shunned by people and would bring suffering in the end. From that day on, the man changed. He started greeting people in his village, helping those in need, and using his wealth for the common good. He no longer walked with his head held high, but with a genuine smile and a loving heart. Slowly, the people in the village began to see a change in him. They no longer saw him as a proud man, but as someone who was thoughtful and generous. And the man was happier than ever, because he had found true happiness in sharing and helping others.